we remain convinced that AI represents an incredible opportunity. These are the words of Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos, a proclamation delivered not in the hushed tones of a cautious futurist, but with the booming, unwavering confidence of a titan of industry charting a new and deeply divisive course for global entertainment. But let's pause on that phrase, an incredible opportunity. It hangs in the air, shimmering with promise, yet for so many, it casts a long and chilling shadow. An opportunity for whom, exactly? Is it an opportunity for visionary creators to finally bring their most ambitious dreams to life, untethered by physical or financial constraints? Is it an opportunity for audiences to experience stories of a scale and spectacle previously unimaginable? Or is it perhaps a more cynical opportunity? An opportunity for a multi-billion-dollar corporation to streamline its production pipeline, to maximize its efficiency, and to bolster its bottom line by systematically replacing human beings. Because while Netflix was busy painting this utopian picture of AI-powered creative nirvana, it was, in the very same breath, confirming a stark reality that validates the deepest fears of every writer, actor, and artist in the entertainment ecosystem. They used generative artificial intelligence to create the final, on-screen special effects for a brand new original series, explicitly and admittedly, instead of commissioning and paying a team of human VFX artists. This is not a distant threat discussed in think pieces. This is not a far-off hypothetical from a science fiction script. It is a reality that has already been produced, uploaded, and streamed into millions of homes. Today, we are going to pull back the glossy corporate curtain on this watershed moment, a moment that may one day be seen as the beginning of a profound and irreversible transformation. We will pinpoint the exact scene that Netflix is hailing as a triumph of technology. We will meticulously dissect the company's carefully crafted and contradictory justifications, and we will explore the rising tide of fear, anger, and organized resistance from the creative community who believe this so-called opportunity looks, feels, and acts like an existential threat. This is the story of what might be the first quiet shot fired in a new, high-stakes war for the very soul of Hollywood. So let's get granular. The show at the center of this storm is a recent Argentinian Netflix original, a science fiction drama titled The Eternaut. The specific moment that has become a lightning rod for this entire explosive debate occurs deep within the show's run, in its 6th episode. If you have a Netflix subscription and a morbid curiosity, you can become a digital archaeologist and see it for yourself. Navigate to episode 6 and fast forward to approximately the 59-minute and 49-second mark. It's not a major set piece. It's almost hidden, nestled within a rapid-fire montage of flashback shots that flicker across the screen in the final 10 minutes of the show. What you are looking for is a depiction of a large building in the heart of Buenos Aires, the city's iconic skyline shattered as the structure groans and then collapses into a cloud of dust and debris. But here's the crucial detail. Don't blink. Don't you dare look away to check your phone, because you will miss it entirely. The entire AI-generated sequence, the one being touted in investor calls, is composed of just 2 fleeting shots. Each one lasts for barely a second or two. It's so astonishingly brief, so utterly missable in the flow of the narrative, that its existence as a major talking point raises an immediate and critical question. Why? Why make such a monumental deal out of something so insignificant to the viewer's experience? Why would a co-CEO of one of the world's largest media companies feel the need to highlight this 2-second clip in a major earnings call, a forum dedicated to billion-dollar strategy? The answer is as simple as it is chilling. This was never just about creating a visual effect. It was about sending a signal. It was about making a statement. Netflix was deliberately and strategically planting a flag in the ground, proudly announcing to its investors, to its Hollywood competitors, and, most importantly, to the global creative workforce that the age of AI-generated final footage is no longer coming, it is here. This was not a quiet, behind-the-scenes experiment. It was a very loud, very public declaration of intent. Now, let us fairly and carefully examine the official story, the narrative that Netflix itself is pushing, because they have presented two very distinct, though conveniently related, justifications for this groundbreaking decision. The first is the argument of pure pragmatism, the one that speaks the language of spreadsheets, budgets, and shareholder value. When asked about the decision to use AI for the collapsing building sequence, Sarando stated bluntly, "The cost of it just wouldn't have been feasible for a show on that budget." This is the cold, hard financial argument. We are led to believe that the production of the Eternaut, an ambitious international project, simply did not have the money in its coffers to hire a traditional VFX team for this specific, albeit brief, effect. On the surface, this might sound almost noble. Perhaps AI can be a great equalizer, a tool that democratizes the filmmaking process, allowing lower-budget international productions to finally feature the kind of spectacular effects that were once the exclusive domain of $100 million summer blockbusters. It is, admittedly, a very tempting vision, but it also pries open a Pandora's box of deeply unsettling questions. What is the precise definition of not feasible when you are a corporation with annual revenues in the tens of billions of dollars? Is it a genuine, insurmountable financial barrier, or is not feasible simply a convenient corporate euphemism for "we'd prefer not to pay for it"? Does this act set a dangerous precedent where producers, both large and small, will now automatically deem the cost of human artists as too high when a cheaper, faster, automated alternative exists? The pervasive fear rippling through the industry is that "we can't afford it" will become the default, unchallengeable excuse for sidelining human talent, for shrinking art department budgets, and for prioritizing automation over artistry. Eroding the value of human skill, job by job, shot by shot. This brings us directly to Netflix's second, more philosophical and aspirational justification for its actions. Ted Sarandos, a savvy media executive, was quick to pivot away from the uncomfortable topic of cost-cutting. "We remain convinced that AI represents an incredible opportunity to help creators make films and series better, not just cheaper," he insisted. "They're AI-powered creator tools." So this is real people doing real work with better tools. This is a truly masterful piece of corporate public relations. It expertly reframes the entire narrative, shifting the focus away from replacement and squarely onto empowerment. The AI, in this idyllic vision, isn't the artist. It's merely a better tool, an evolution of technology no different from an advanced digital paintbrush or a more sophisticated camera. The real people, presumably a director or an editor, are still the ones in control, still doing the real work. But is that an honest representation of what is happening here? A paintbrush, no matter how advanced, does not paint by itself. It has no will of its own. A camera, no matter how sophisticated, does not compose the shot or decide the subject. A traditional VFX artist spends years, often decades, honing their craft to a razor's edge. They make thousands of infinitesimally small creative decisions about the quality of light, the texture of a surface, the physics of an explosion, the timing of a movement, all to create a final image that is not only believable, but emotionally resonant. When you delegate the task of generate a collapsing building to an AI, who or what is making those countless artistic choices? Is the real work of a human being now simply reduced to typing a text prompt and then sifting through a dozen machine-generated options until one looks passably good? The line between a tool that assists an artist and a machine that replaces an artist is becoming perilously, frighteningly thin. And many creators would argue that with this scene in the Eternaut, Netflix has not just blurred that line, it has stomped right over it with gleeful abandon. The company even boasted, with no small amount of pride, that generating this effect with artificial intelligence was, quote, 10 times faster than it would have taken a traditional team of VFX professionals. 10 times faster. Let that number sink in. That is a staggering, almost unbelievable claim of efficiency, and it gets right to the raw, bleeding heart of this conflict. If the implications of that claim, the promise of such speed on one hand and the threat it represents on the other, makes you pause and think, do us a quick favor and hit that like button below. It's a small click for you, but it gives us invaluable feedback, letting us know that you want more deep dives into these complex technological shifts that are reshaping our world. Because this relentless pursuit of efficiency comes at a cost, and it's a cost that cannot be measured in dollars and cents, but in people. It represents the potential annihilation of entire job categories, the systemic devaluation of highly specialized human skills, and a fundamental philosophical threat to the creative process itself. This isn't some abstract ivory tower fear. This is the new unfolding reality. To be fair, artists have utilized tools incorporating AI elements for years, using machine learning to assist with tedious tasks like rotoscoping or motion tracking. That is not new. The controversy erupts, the alarms sound, when AI is used not to assist, but to wholly circumvent the hiring of real, living, breathing artists. When you make that leap, you risk sacrificing the most vital yet intangible element that makes art compelling, the human touch. The deliberate imperfections, the clever creative choices, the emotional intent that is woven into the very fabric of the work by a conscious mind. You risk creating a deluge of content that is technically proficient but emotionally and spiritually sterile. And even more tragically, you risk pushing an entire generation of talented, passionate, and dedicated creators out of the industry they love, not because they lack skill, but because they simply cannot compete with a machine that is 10 times faster and infinitely cheaper. And make no mistake, the artists are not accepting this fate quietly. They are not taking this lying down. The anxieties are no longer just hushed whispers in dark online forums or worried conversations over drinks after a long day. They have erupted into organized, strategic, industry-wide action. The creative community and its unions have been sounding this very alarm for years, and this overt move by Netflix serves as the perfect, terrifying validation of all their warnings. Consider the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, a name you should know, more commonly called IATSE. This is the powerful, century-old union that represents a vast and diverse army of the behind-the-scenes workers who are the true backbone of the entertainment industry. Everyone from camera operators and costume designers to, increasingly, visual effects teams. For decades, the VFX sector was derided as the Wild West of Hollywood, a segment of the industry that was often non-unionized and, as a result, frequently subjected to grueling, unsustainable hours and deeply unstable employment. But that is changing, and changing fast. In a direct response to the twin threats of exploitative working conditions and AI-driven replacement, more and more VFX artists are banding together and demanding the protections of a union contract. In the last year alone, we have witnessed historic, first-ever unionization pushes from the visual effects crews at industry behemoths like Marvel Studios and the Walt Disney Company. Even the VFX team for the legendary, long-running sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live recently unionized. And what is a central, non-negotiable plank in all of their negotiation platforms? Establishing clear, robust, and legally binding rules around the use of artificial intelligence. They are fighting tooth and nail for contracts that guarantee human oversight, that protect their long-term job security, and that legally ensure AI serves as a tool for human artists, not as their replacement. This is a fierce battle being fought at negotiating tables right now, and Netflix's 2-second clip from the Eternaut has just been handed to the unions as their Exhibit A. But if you still think this is just about a single, isolated scene in one Argentinian television show, then you have not been paying close enough attention to Netflix's broader corporate strategy. This is not a one-off experiment conducted in a vacuum. It is a very clear, very deliberate signpost on the company's meticulously planned AI roadmap. This becomes chillingly, undeniably clear when you connect this event to another, seemingly unrelated announcement that Netflix made just a few months ago, back in May. The company publicly unveiled a concrete plan to begin rolling out AI-generated advertisements on its platform, setting an ambitious target start date of the year 2026. Let that sink in for a moment. They are not only exploring AI for the creation of the content you choose to watch, but also for the creation of the advertising you are often forced to watch around it. The overarching strategy is unmistakable. Integrate artificial intelligence across every facet of the business, from pre-production and content creation to marketing and advertising, all in the service of two primary goals: maximizing operational efficiency and minimizing costs. Specifically, the cost of human labor. The streamer is not backing down or showing hesitation in the face of the creative community's backlash. It is flooring the accelerator, and it demonstrates that the profound fears of actors who fought for and won crucial AI protections in their historic strike, and of writers who did precisely the same, and now of VFX artists who are in the thick of that very same fight right now, are not just justified, they are prophetic. The dystopian future they were all worried about is not looming on the horizon. It is arriving now, faster than almost anyone anticipated. So where does this leave us, the audience? The millions of people who sit on our couches, scroll through the endless menus, and press play. We are, whether we realize it or not, standing at a pivotal crossroads. Down one path lies the future that Ted Sarandos and Netflix so enthusiastically envision. A world of incredible opportunity, where AI tools make entertainment better, not just cheaper. A world where anyone, theoretically, can conjure stunning visuals with a few keystrokes, and where the global pipeline of content is faster, bigger, and more relentlessly efficient than ever before. Down the other path lies the future that the artists, the creators, and their unions are fighting so desperately to protect. A world where human creativity, nuanced skill, and the magic of collaboration remain at the sacred heart of the storytelling process. A world where technology serves art and not the other way around. The case of the Eternaut is so much more than a minor piece of industry news. It is a critical test case for the entire future of our media landscape. It forces us all to ask ourselves a fundamental question. What do we truly value more? The frictionless efficiency of the machine, or the messy, beautiful, and ultimately irreplaceable touch of the human artist? The answer that we collectively arrive at will define the art we consume and the stories we are told for generations to come. The conversation around artificial intelligence in art is only just beginning, and its shockwaves are going to reshape the future of everything we watch, read, and listen to. If you want to stay on top of these crucial developments and truly understand what's at stake, make sure you are subscribed to our channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into the technologies that are changing our world. Thank you for watching.